Hello friends. Now I am explaining 1.4, the fourth concept in the chapter 1, writing an object oriented program. Actually, in Java, we must write object oriented programs using Java. Already I told you, simply using Java code, then it does not automatically become an object oriented program. So, try to understand what is object, that is very core, because this is object oriented programming language. Object is the building block. If you cannot identify object and all that, simply writing code and don't call it as object oriented program. This is somewhat sensitive issue. Little aptitude is required, little maturity is required. So now, by performing number of programs, automatically you get that ability. I don't say with one program only you get all these capabilities and all that. Already I told you, in Java project zone, entry level, 10 projects I have given. Then after completion of first chapter, second chapter, you work out all the 10 programs. That too I explain in a very formal manner. All the project development process, 5 phases I explain. Then you can understand. After that, I can give you 100% guarantee in any problem domain, you can identify object. That is the real spirit of object oriented programming. And once you are able to identify object or objects in a problem domain, then you can reuse it. Your programming will be like a child play and you can enjoy it. Now, a simple task I have taken. Actually, one room 1 length, breadth and height we have to print as output. So these values, any other values you can give, same values you need not give and all that. This is a simple thing. Now first thing is, actually one thing already twice I told you, in order to define a complete class, there are 9 elements. Of course, all 9 elements may not be required in program, but totally 9 types of elements we can write in a program, in a class definition. Those are instance variables, static variables, constructors, instance methods, static methods, instance initializer blocks, static initializer blocks, instance inner classes, static inner classes. Totally 9. These are the main elements. So now one by one, now in the first program I introduced just the main. Actually, main is a static method. In the body of the main only, we create objects and we implement things and all that. But now we are talking about blueprint classes. First we develop blueprint, thereafter implement. Just you incorporate this blueprint concept in your mind. For any simple thing also, there will be a blueprint. Suppose you have to go to hotel, you have to go to hotel and take breakfast. For that, just you think, you mentally frame a blueprint. Got ready, go to hotel, purchase tokens, take tiffin, come back to room. Like that, one algorithm is there. In that way, that is called blueprint. A mental work, as it is a routine work and all that, you may not think. But if it's a bigger thing, you have to write it or you have to work out on that. If you have to construct a house and all that, first you go to an architect and get the blueprint. All these are blueprints only. So now we have to perform this task of printing one room, objects, dimensions we have to print. So for this purpose, we have to develop a blueprint class first. First blueprint class, after blueprint class is developed, thereafter we construct implementation class. So I have taken very simple example, because if I take room means it is understandable to everybody, because example should not disturb you. If I talk about some air traffic control system, hospital or something else, uh, it is very difficult for you to understand what is the question. That's why I give you, as far as possible, I give you all simple domains like room, student, employee, etc. and all that. So here you see, first we have to write a comment. Already I told you, as a convention we write it. It is writing comment first is like writing heading of the chapter. What is the heading of the chapter? What is the importance of heading of the chapter? You know that. In the same way, first we write a comment, and it explains what is the task of the program. That is a convention. It improves the readability. Thereafter, every Java program is composition of one or more classes. Minimum one class should be there. So earlier in the first program only one class was there. Now I am introducing two classes. This is the first class, class room. Already all the conventions and all the title is the keyword. Class is a keyword and it is an identifier. We have to write in a Pascal case. So as one word is there, then we are first letter capitalize and write. This as a comment, it is a blueprint class. What is blueprint? You understand. Now this is the body of the class. This is body of the class. Thereafter, now you see, for room, how many dimensions are there? Here 3 dimensions are there. So I have taken, for the sake of simplicity, int I have taken. If you want a float also you can take int length, breadth and height. Length, breadth and height. We have now already told you, we have to use complete names. Complete names, no short forms. Where you can use short forms and all that, I'll let you know. Here, length, breadth and height. These are called instance variables. Why these are called instance variables? Instance means object. Instance means object. That means object oriented variables. Why you are calling object oriented variables? Hereafter I call instance variables only. And length. If I tell length, immediately you ask whose length? Whose length or which length you ask. So with the reference to some object only it is meaningful. Drawing room's length, study room's length, bedroom's length, then only it is meaningful. That's why it is instance oriented, object oriented variable. Independently it does not have any meaning. Via one object only we can understand its meaning. So these are called instance variables. Okay, now we have defined 3 instance variables which are required for our program, and thereafter these should be initialized. Actually, if these are not initialized and all that, how can we give values and all that? For initialization purpose, one method we have to create. That method I name it as setData. Actually, here conventions, as far as instance variables or instance methods are concerned, we have to use camel case. Camel case means first letter, first word lowercase, and second word onwards, first letter should be capitalized. That we follow for instance variables and instance methods also. And for instance methods, one more convention is there, Java convention. It should be started with verb. As far as class identifier is concerned, it should be a noun. And as far as instance methods or any other methods are concerned, it should start with a verb and it should be in lowercase. Or it can be a verb also. Add is also a valid identifier for instance method. Now set data. That's why it is setting data, and it should be self-explanatory also. It should be self-explanatory. That's why set data. Okay, this is meant for initializing the instance variables. So it does not return any value. It does not return any value, but it requires parameters, because from outside we are sending the values. So how can you send it to the body? Through the parameters. Then corresponding parameters we define: int L, int B, and int H. Int H parameters we declared. Thereafter, once they receive value, L, B, and H receives value, then they are assigned to length, breadth, and height. Then obviously these are initialized with the values whatever we give. In this manner, we have defined the blueprint class, because our task is very simple. Just whatever required variables we declared. Thereafter, for initializing those variables and all that, instance initialization method we declared in this format. This is our blueprint class. Now we have defined the blueprint class with 3 instance variables, 1 instance method for initializing instance variables. Blueprint is ready. Now what you have to do? Implement. For implementation purpose, one more class we have to define. Here I named it as room demo. Actually, room we are demonstrating here. That's why appropriate name we give. It should represent what it is doing. Room demo. In this, we defined main method. In the first program, I have explained about the main, and if you want more details about it in Java concept pool, once again I am implementing it. Main is the entry point. Program execution starts from the main. That always you remember. And in main only, we implementation things we define. Here now we have written, this is the most important thing in object oriented programming. Lot of explanation is required for this. So you should have little perseverance. Actually, in C and all that, suppose a variable we create like this: int age is equal to 20. Then one variable is created with 2 bytes, and its name is age, name is associated with that, and its type is int, and 20 is stored. Very simple, very simple. These are compile time entities. At the time of compilation, these are created, and these are created on stack memory. There are 2 types of memories. One is stack memory, and at the compile time, entities and all that are created on stack memory. On stack memory, with every location, name of that location is associated. Suppose you construct a house and name it as Sweet Home. The name is associated with that. In the same manner, this book is See All Clear. Then See All Clear associated with that. But on heap memory, we can create whatever amount of memory we require, you can create. But you cannot give names. If you cannot give names and all that, how can you call it? How can you address it? Suppose there are many people. If they have some identity, some name and all that, you can call them Ram, Shyam, Kumar, Mohan, etc. and all that. If you do not know names and all that, how can you address them? How can you access them? That is the problem with the heap. Actually, all these Java objects are runtime entities. Those are created only on heap. There our problem starts. It is like a book. Imagine that it is like a book. The name is associated with that, but on heap oriented entities are like kites. Can you handle kite? How you can handle kite? Kite is one paper frame and one tile, one part. Other thing, how you can play with the kite, then you put a string. Through a string, you tie it and you handle this. Understand? Until you tie the string, there are two elements. String is one element and kite, paper part of the kite, another element. Once you tie the string with the kite, there is only one element. Kite is. Understand? So, that point you understand. Gradually, one thing already in the beginning itself I told you. Here there is scope of abstraction. It is not doubt. Abstraction means it is not a concrete knowledge. If you have concrete knowledge, you can implement it. 100% you know. Here you will have some time, will have abstract knowledge. Gradually, chapter by chapter, concept by concept, your knowledge becomes concrete. Then you can implement it with 100% confidence. Understand? Don't worry about that. You never get a doubt. That much assurance I am giving. And through my examples and all that, you try to visualize the things and all that. So, here now we are creating kite. For this purpose, I am writing a code. This is the thing. Room 1. Actually, now we see room 1. This is called object reference. Object reference I have created. That means you can view it like this. Here, what is this type? Room. What is its name? This is the position. This is called object reference. It is a reference variable. Reference variable meant for referring an object. That's all. This is like, imagine like a string of the kite. Kite is not there, only string you have. That is like this. And you get a doubt now. On heap we cannot give names. But how could I give name? This is created on stack. Object reference is created on stack because we are able to give name. Its type is room. Which type of objects it can refer? It can refer room type of objects only, not any other type and all that. So, that point also you should remember. Actually, if you know see pointers and all that, same type of concept. Here pointers are not there. These references are like pointers, not exactly pointers and all that. In pointers, pointer type, the corresponding variable type should be the same. In the same manner, here this is object reference, type is room. It can refer the objects of room type. Okay. Now this part of thing is created. Next part I am separating for the sake of convenience. No, new room. Actually, new is a operator. New is a operator, and this is called constructor. Constructor is a method, and this time being you postpone the details of this. Just simply call as a constructor. Constructor means it initializes things. Here in this context, constructor means it initializes instance variables. That point only remember. So, here new performs three very important jobs. New performs three core jobs. What are the core jobs? New allocates required amount of the memory for room object. Required amount of memory for the room object. Suppose this memory is required for the room object and that is being created. How much memory is required? That you know. How? Now how many instance variables are there? 1, 2, 3. What what are that type? Int. So in Java, int size is 4 bytes. So how much memory? 1, 2, 3. Totally 12 bytes of memory on heap it is created. Now we see what is its type. Its type is room. Its type is room. What is name? We cannot give name because it is allocated on heap. So how you can identify? You can identify like room type object. This is room type object, that only you can understand. So this is the real thing. Room type object means Mohan's son, Mr. Mohan's son. What is the son's name? You never know. Mr. Mohan's son, like that. Room type object. So this type of thing is created. So first job of new is allocating sufficient amount of memory on the heap. Now what is the sufficient amount of memory? You know that as it is int type, 3 variables, 3 into 4, 12 bytes of memory is allocated. Second one, it calls a constructor. It is you understand this is a standard method. In next chapters I will explain. This is called constructor method. It is meant for initializing instance variables with the default values. Meant for initializing instance variable with the default values. What are the default values? You must understand. All numerical types, it is 0. What are the numerical types? In the next chapter we explain what are the types and all that. There are 6 numerical types in Java. What are that? Byte, short, int, long, float and double. For them default value is 0. So new calls constructor method. You need not use word method, but it is a method only. So what it does with the default values, it initializes. What are the default values? 0 for int. So it initializes instance variables with zeros. So 2 jobs it performed. It performed third job also. Now this is having a reference. That reference, because of this assignment operator, the room object is a reality. Its a reference, it assigns to reference variable. This reference variable, reference is like address, but don't use the word address. In your mind you understand reference means like address, like address. So its address, now it is the real thing. It is the real thing. Its address, it assigns to R1. Then what happens? Because of that, this is created. Your kite is ready. This is the paper part of the kite. It is created on heap. This is the string. This is created on stack. After that, one only. In creation only, you have to understand these elements. After that, you treat it as one element only. Using string, you can play the kite. Understand? That is the mechanism.